Orgasmic enlightenment, where the sexual and spiritual come together. I'm Kim Anami, and I'm a holistic sex and relationship coach and a vaginal weightlifter. In this show, we explore all things intimate. I believe that our sexual energy is life force, creative energy, and we can use it to shape our worlds, strengthen our relationships, and self-actualize. I blend the most avant-garde information from neuroscience, ancient sexual practices like Tantra and Taoism, to renegade wellness modalities to show you how to create gourmet sex in your lives. Come one, come all. No HRT, no GLP1s, no peptides. I'm a super freak, I'm super freaky. I am multi-orgasmic, can fuck my partner from across the planet. I surf big waves, I lift heavy at the gym, and I weigh what I did in high school.
She's a super freak, super freak.
I've never taken any kind of hormone medication, never taken GLP1s, never taken peptides. I have no plans to. I've been clean and sober for 33 years. No drugs, no alcohol. I quit drinking coffee when I was 19. I don't take pharmaceuticals. I don't use pain relief medicines. I haven't had any in my house for decades.
She's super freaky.
I moved away from the allopathic model in my teens, not because I grew up in some au naturel holistic household. I didn't at all, but because I could see even as a child that whenever we'd go to the doctor, they had no idea what the fuck they were talking about. They could never, ever figure out the source of any complaint, and they never ever had a solution for it. Sure, they might prescribe some medication, but they could never actually heal or cure anything. Not ever. Could they sew things back together? Yep, I'll give them that. Good seamstresses, great with a needle and thread, but that's about it. When I began turning my attention to all things alternative, I self-studied all I could about herbs, homeopathy, and even the idea of meditation as a way to self-heal. That was exciting to me. The notion that I had the power to heal and balance anything and everything within me, and the idea that my body was a moment-to-moment living holograph of all of my thoughts, feelings, and experiences. These concepts turn me on because it brings the power back to me. If I created it, then I can fix it. Essentially, illness, as we understand it, at least from a more Eastern rather than Western perspective, is a sum total of unresolved traumas, suppressed emotions, and unhealed wounds. All of that compounds and writes itself on the body and shows up as symptoms, ailments, and injuries. A giant post-it note of all the things people have filed away for later. To further take control of my own healing, I self-studied herbs, homeopathy, created my own home first aid kits. I planted a garden full of herbs to make my own apothecary. I even planted herbs to use for herbal birth control. The idea of having and owning this self-healing power has always been tremendously exciting for me. This is the total opposite of going to the doctor and prostrating myself at their stupid feet, begging them to tell me what's going on inside my own body. Feeling that helplessness of being at their mercy in some way, waiting for them to bestow a wisdom they simply never had. No fucking thank you. Like I said, it was clear to me even as a child that something was off with that whole system. Decades ago, there were a series of studies done with people who had multiple personality disorders. Each personality not only had its own behavior traits, but also its own physical maladies. For example, there was someone who in one of their personalities had diabetes, and the other personalities did not. It was fully measurable in the one that had it and completely gone without a trace in the personalities that did not. Someone had a personality that had high blood pressure. Their other personalities did not, and so on. This is one of the most inspirational, empowering things I have ever come across because it tells us, number one, that we have complete control over what happens in our bodies. And number two, we can change these things in an instant at will. The trick is how conscious we are, how much responsibility we're willing to take, and what kinds of defense mechanisms or narratives we've built up over the years that make it harder for us to will transformation and healing in a proverbial instant. And how much we buy into victim consciousness and let it run our lives. With the example of the person who had the diabetic and non-diabetic personalities, the physiological switchover would happen within minutes of the personality change. The blood chemistry, all the markers that were indicative of the condition would transform in a flash. Again, I find this incredibly exciting and inspiring because it means that the power is all in me and in you. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, addictions humans have is victim consciousness. Rationalizing a condition, be it health, wealth, or circumstances. Blaming other people. Blaming biology. It's honestly so fucking boring. And look, everyone has blind spots. We all do. We have places where it's harder for us to see the truth, to feel into our own power and claim it. These are our own personal challenges and areas for growth in this lifetime. The entire allopathic medical system is based on the notion that you have no power. Your genetics determine your fate. Your gender determines your fate. Your hormones determine your fate. Some random fucking bad stretch of luck determines your fate, but never you. My response is fuck that. So with all of these supplements and drugs, it doesn't matter to me how natural or safe or bioidentical people want to claim they are. And I'd say that that is massively up for debate. I don't care. Because the fundamental rationale behind that belief system is there are inherent flaws in the human body. The human body is dumb and it cannot fix itself because science. And the only way that you can fix anything is with drugs that you take forever because there are actually no cures for anything. It's one fuck of a business model. And shocking to me that so many people buy into it so gullibly. So let's talk about each of these categories for a bit, starting with the HRT narrative. I've spoken about this in a few different episodes already, like HRT, should you take it, and perimenopause is a scam. And then we've interviewed people who've gone off it and seized control of their own health, with other episodes coming off HRT with vaginal kung fu, and my cervix is my CEO, which was last week's episode. In order to align with the ideology that supports the taking of hormones, you have to believe that the female body is inherently flawed. The entire allopathic system is so incredibly and rabidly violent towards the female body, and especially the female reproductive system. It starts with the muzzling of women, the muzzling of girls with fake hormones in their teenage years, and then it can't wait to get its hands on her reproductive organs, persuading women to part with them on the operating table/sacrificial altar. And then it wants her to be drugged for her entire lifetime. Let's just posit, shall we, that a woman's reproductive organs are portals to another dimension, because they are. When she's connected to them, she becomes a channel for higher intuition and interdimensional contact. She taps into this connection naturally and even deeper with her monthly menstruation. And then she becomes a direct portal to it in menopause when she no longer menstruates and her body isn't using all of that potent energy to prepare for a pregnancy each month. She can then access this channel anytime, anywhere, recreating herself post-motherhood. And this is the role we see in tribal cultures of the matriarch, the wise woman. None of this happens when a woman drugs herself, whether it's Midol or HRT or hormonal birth control. It all acts as a mask, a muzzle, and an interference. None of this raw power is available to her now because she's given it all away. And so it inverts within her, causing damage and destruction. As I said in these other episodes, the key is to be operating at an Anami-style gourmet level of well-fuckedness. This allows your body to function at its optimum, the way it is meant to, as a perpetual hormone factory. Since your sex hormones are the foundation of everything and how we create everything on this plane of existence, then so long as we keep those thriving in a well-fucked state, all is well. And let's be clear here, well-fucked in Anami land means having regular gourmet sex. How do you know if you're having gourmet sex? Did it change your life? Then yes. If it didn't, then no. It can be sex with your partner or sex with yourself. Vaginal orgasms, G-spot, cervical, and squirting, even anal orgasms and nipplegasms, but mainly cervical. Clitoral orgasms are not gourmet sex. Neither is jacking off to porn, using fantasy to get off, using a vibrator, trying to come as quickly as possible. Instead, we stay grounded in our own bodies and our partners, and we connect in the present. All of these other things create dissociation, and it's the most base use of sexual energy. The only way to truly harness your sexual energy as a procreative source is when you elevate it. How do we do this? By allowing ourselves to surrender and be vulnerable. The only way you can tap into this rebirthing, procreative, change your life power of sex is through you opening yourself up. And this is why my work doesn't apply to casual sex situations or to couples having perfunctory, tick the boxes sex. Go deep or go home, or go deep to come home. In terms of the GLP1 game, bitch, I've been a gym girlie since I was 19 years old. I'm 55 now. In the last 35 years, I've played with some Pilates and some power yoga, but I've always come back to the gym. And now there's all this information out there about how muscle is its own myokine factory. This is analogous to what I was just speaking about with your sex life being your own hormone factory. You go through the same effect when you're building muscle. You cannot buy muscle. You have to earn it. Your muscles are actually an endocrine system. As you use them and you build them, you do everything from generate metabolic regulation and improve insulin sensitivity. You produce an anti-inflammatory response. You strengthen your immune system. You stimulate tissue repair, and you boost cognition and neuroprotection, which is fucking amazing. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I never succumbed to the body positivity bullshit. My response has always been, you too can go to the gym. I am not going to endorse your choice not to go to the gym, so don't even fucking bother trying. Anyone who has a committed fitness routine knows the blood, sweat, and self-discipline that it takes. I respect that. immensely. I love weight training for the same reasons I love surfing, at least one of the same reasons, that there's always another level to go. There's always a heavier weight, and I'm essentially competing against myself. In surfing, there's always a bigger wave. People surf 100-foot waves. I have a long way to go before I will feel like I have plateaued. So I guess the point of my love for these things is they continually challenge me and they offer me room to grow. I love and live by the expression, if it doesn't challenge me, it doesn't change me. I can also make this parallel in cervical orgasms. The amount of ecstasy and enlightenment you get from them is infinite, and you have to earn them. They are not for the faint of heart, for the weak of spirit. You need a certain level of courage. You need a big level of courage and resilience to break through into this new dimension. And when you do, you keep going deeper, getting higher, and experiencing more psychedelic bliss, to the point where all of these feelings overflow into your daily life. All of these habits, weight training, surfing, and of course, anami-style fucking and life-changing orgasms, are literal neurotransmitter and hormone factories. Now, I don't do them because of that. Maybe in a way, it's partly why I do them and have for decades, because I get this sense of inner connection and feeling amazing as fuck. And the science affirms that all of this is true. Through these activities, we build everything we need to thrive. I'm always interested in optimizing. How do I become the best version of myself here and now and forevermore? And I've always felt intuitively, viscerally, that this is a pursuit that never ends. We gain traction, milestones, and the ultimate gifts of feeling amazing and connected to ourselves and source. It's definitely a mindset shift, though. If you've been raised to believe, and look, our entire culture is set up to facilitate this belief, that you are powerless and the only healing ever available to you is through an outside source, then you have work to do. And honestly, I believe that this is one of the deepest spiritual lessons we can learn, that ultimately we are responsible for everything that happens to us. And the moment we take that idea on and realize that it actually gives us power is when everything changes. So let me tell you a little secret and shortcut. Get fucked. Get thoroughly, artfully, heartfully pounded, loved up, adored, cherished, and dickmatized. The fastest way to connect to this true and deeper source of your power and your confidence and your unfuckwithability is through your sexual energy. As a woman, it's inside the vagina, deep inside, like cervix deep. Nothing self-actualizes you, pulls you out of victim consciousness and out of this dependency on drugs, pills, excuses, and rationalizations faster than getting fucked. Yeah, I will continue to lift weights. Yes, I will continue to surf. But in Anami land, so many of our success stories, our well-fucked all-stars, achieve major transformations not by changing any of their lifestyle habits except the one that gives life, getting well fucked. In truth, they often do go on to adopt new and healthier lifestyle habits because they're now operating through the principle of eros rather than thanatos. Now, Freud talked about eros as being our natural drive to grow, evolve, create, and experience pleasure. And he actually called it libido, but not just in the sexual sense of the word, but it was considered our life force in expression in the world. And then he spoke of the opposite of that being thanatos, which is the death instinct. This is how we self-sabotage and we move towards destruction. Once you liberate your erotic energy, this drive towards your highest evolution, your growth, Healing and elevation begin to permeate every part of your life. And this is why we hear about all of these different stories and examples of the far-reaching effects of being well fucked when we listen to our all-stars. It'll start with your body, with your orgasms, then your reproductive ailments, which were ever only an inversion of this life force, sexual procreative energy. And once you reverse that flow, you can redirect this energy to yourself and everything around you. So if we go back for a moment to the whole body positivity GLP1 trajectory, we see how an entire social movement was built to support people not working out, not going to the gym, not exercising, not eating right, and somehow calling that body positivity. The reality is that it takes a lot of work to build and maintain a legendary fit physique. I know that, and so I've always respected it. Anyone who has built one knows that. And we all respect it because it's hard won. People who have never done it love having a story that gives them permission not to bother. It was the whole McDonald's sponsored, literally McDonald's was sponsoring a lot of these events, body positive movement that did that for them. And now with the proliferation of these GLP-1 drugs, the Ozempic craze, all sorts of people have been able to buy their weight loss. You can't buy muscle tone though, and that's one of the sacrifices of taking these drugs is that it indiscriminately removes fat and muscle. And then suddenly the body positivity conversation stopped. Nobody's talking about it anymore. Mainly because some of its loudest and fattest proponents simply aren't fat anymore. They've injected their Ozempic, they've lost a lot of weight, and now they have no investment to justify why they shouldn't go to the gym. In Anami land, one of the major side effects of getting well fucked is that people lose weight at remarkable rates. These are often people who have cleaned up their diet and their exercise. Some of them don't, but they still struggle with extra weight. What is this extra weight? Is it self-loathing? Yeah. Is that an accumulated heaviness in them that's hard to shake? Yep. Did they start a journey and then lose motivation halfway through? Probably. We have stories of people losing up to 70 pounds through doing my salons. So let's think back to these multiple personality cases and how their body chemistry could instantly change. If somebody gets well fucked, what happens? They become their own hormone factory. Our reproductive hormones, as I've said many times, are our mother hormones. They support the entire system. We build them and generate them constantly through having great sex. Not bust out an orgasm to go to sleep or de-stress or vibrator sex. That kind of sex actually depletes our hormones. Just ask any bald guy. If we're having sex for long enough, hence the wisdom of the Anami weekly 3-hour sex date, then we are cultivating dopamine, oxytocin, prolactin, endorphins, testosterone. All of these things are getting built in the wake of being well fucked. If you're having Anami-style gourmet sex in which surrender is the key ingredient, then we're also signaling to our system that we are living in a state of safety. We are secure enough to open, relax, and trust in ourselves, our partners, and in life. This builds a hormonal reservoir of all of our peak hormones and transmitters that keep us in an optimum state of flow. Nothing drains us faster than living in a perpetual place of anxiety, stress, and cortisol. All of our hormone production gets paused, if that's the case, so that our system can focus on making cortisol. That's it. Front and center, that is a priority. The fastest and most powerful way to bring your system into harmony, flow, safety, and health is having loving, gourmet style, open yourself fully sex with your partner. And yes, you can have this with yourself. And if you don't have a partner, then you ought to be having gourmet style sex with yourself on the regular. But yes, you will go further, deeper, and faster with a conscious partner. If you have an unconscious partner, you will actually invert. So the metaphysics of surrender plays a huge role here. The energy of surrender has a biological expression. It generates well-being and well-fucked hormones. As we repeat these safety signals over and over again, as we keep building them within us daily, our system keeps producing these hormones. The very hormones that the medical model tries to tell us that we stop producing, and that's why you need to buy them at the hormone store. Get fucked, bitch. No, I really mean that. If you were getting truly, madly, deeply fucked, you would not need to buy your hormones. Ask any of our well-fucked all-stars who've transcended and have fucked themselves over to the other side. So beyond the physiology is the energetic act of surrender and what that does for us. And this is where the spiritual and the sexual come together in my work. The ultimate act, the place where we find the most power in any spiritual pursuit, is in the act of surrender. We learn to let go of what we know, let go of our cultivated personality, our ego, and step aside so that a power greater than us can flow through us. And this is the basis of the concept of thy will be done. We acknowledge that in our humanness, we don't have all the answers. But if we can tap into the flow of the universe, the flow of creation, we can ride that wave and have access to a level of wisdom, consciousness, and intuitive brilliance that we otherwise do not. So the act of surrender becomes a profound spiritual and somatic experience. And this is what I discovered early on in my sexual and orgasmic journey, that the price of admission for the deeper vaginal orgasms, especially cervical, was a full body, full being, emotional, psycho, spiritual opening and surrender. Nothing less. And because I was somehow good at that, I was good at having these orgasms. I never read anything. I had no how-to on these. I didn't even really know what orgasms were, but I had them because I knew how to surrender in these moments. I knew how to jump and let go and toss it all into the fire. Anyone who's ever had any kind of spiritual awakening will tell you that it was this, the final layer of their letting go, that brought them over the edge and opened them up to a whole new reality. This deep surrender is the price of admission for spiritual and sexual enlightenment. You choose to let go of everything you are, everything you could become, and you just toss it all into the fire. You go all in. It's like putting all your money, all your chips on the table and trusting that the act of such deep letting go is so healing, so therapeutic, so life-giving that nothing else can touch it. And in so doing, you become untouchable. You, in the courage of that moment, become imbued with a permanent level of courage. And this is the dying daily that one of those big books talks about. And you can do it here too with Le Petit Amour. So this alchemy, the burning up of old baggage and weight in weight loss, the Anami version of it, our all-stars talk about how fucking is better than therapy. And look, I think therapy is great, but if you want the deepest, most somatic reset, nothing beats cataclysmic sex. You are literally playing with the creative life force energy of the universe. So use it to rebirth yourself. I've seen this in my own body sculpting, how after a powerful encounter, let's say, especially an extended one, like a sex weekend or a week, my body will reshape itself. Not from working out, not from the calories burned by staying up all night in the bed gym, but because something within me was catalyzed and loved up so massively that it's now changing me from the inside out. My cells are bursting and rebirthing and reforming and reconfiguring on a higher level into a higher frequency. My whole being changes. My muscle tone, the shape of my body, my carriage, my walk, my voice, my outlook, it all shifts and upgrades. And our well-fucked all-stars see this as well. They heal everything from PCOS and endometriosis. They ditch their fucking stupid hormones for peri and menopause. They eradicate their depression and lose dozens of pounds, all through the life-changing alchemy of being well-fucked. And they will be the first to say that they did nothing different in terms of their diet, exercise, use of other healing modalities. Nah. They just got well fucked. Again, being well fucked in the Anami sense of the term is having deep, rejuvenating, consciousness altering, psychedelic, massive reset sex. And then this peptide thing, I'm not even remotely interested. Coming out of an era where the government was trying to coerce everyone to self-inject mysterious substances into their bodies, to people now volunteering to self-inject mysterious substances into their bodies, it's a hard pass for me. But Kim, they're tested. People can argue all they want about how clean these products are. I don't give a shit. One, I don't believe they are. And two, I still believe that my body can generate everything it needs through my own activities. So, look, you can build it or you can buy it. But actually, you can't. The lie is that you can buy it. You actually do have to build it. Telling someone you can buy it is the real snake oil. I'm telling you, and our well-fucked all-stars are telling you, that you can fuck your way to it. Do you need to take one of my programs to learn how to? Yeah, maybe you do. But once you have that skill set, you are set for life. You do not need to keep coming back to the Anami pharmacy forever. The Anami principles, yeah, sure. But once you put them to use, you can build your own medicine and your own aura of invincibility from within. And you can live there. The Well Fucked Woman Salon opens for registration in a few weeks. This is my 10-week online salon for women in which you learn how to become your own hormone-making factory through step-by-step instructions for the deeper vaginal orgasms, G-spot, cervical squirting. You learn how to channel your orgasmic creative sexual energy into your life and your work, accessing your unique genius. You clear sexual blocks and release your unprocessed weight. You master the technical skills of deep throating, anal sex, wild hand jobs, and how to use these sex acts to accelerate your personal growth and transformation. If it doesn't change you, it's not worth doing. How to transform challenging menstruation, PMS, and menopause into the blissful portals they were meant to be. Go to kimanami.com/wet to get on the wait list, to be notified of when WFW opens, and receive a free series on vaginal orgasms in the meantime. Thank you so much for listening. Subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and send somebody else the gift of a multi-orgasmic and transformational love life by sharing this episode with them. If you'd like to go deeper into all things orgasms, sign up for my free Orgasmopedia series where you'll learn about 9 different types of orgasms everyone can have. Go to kamanami.com and you'll see the sign up there. Come one, come all.